We need to check and make sure what pages we're on. I didn't think about that.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, everybody. I think this one's on your page and this one's on my page.
All right. Well, hey, where are y'all? Are y'all at the river? They may be at the river. Let's see. We don't see anybody watching.
I see on here they're starting to watch.
What does that say, Dave?
We've got, that says Diane.
I can't see y'all.
Diane Stella. Yeah, we got people coming on.
Yeah,
now.
we've got some people coming on now.
You know, yesterday, I don't know about where y'all are at, but yesterday here it was, I mean, when I got up yesterday morning, it was 65 degrees.
Oh, y'all, it feels so good. Now, I'm telling you, it really felt great. But it's hot now. But I just walked over to Walt's, and he was sitting around, and so we decided to talk to y'all a little bit about his book. We had lots of people that came to the Cottle House today, and they said, can Walt bring us a book over here? And I said, well, we'll see. But anyway, and he did bring some.
When I went to visit them, too, they told me that they loved it when we did lives together.
Oh, did they?
They like it when we tell stories together. So I thought we'd come on here and tell a story today. We're not just going to talk about books. We're going to tell a story,
Well,
too.
listen, I'll tell you what I told them the other day about your chicken condominium.
Yeah, that ain't...
Fast.
Oh.
I got a little bit left, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah, you'll be fine. We'll be fine. We're not going to be on here long. So, yeah, how many people did you cook breakfast for this morning?
17. And I had a lot of biscuits left over because, y'all, they just got so full of grits and everything else. They just couldn't eat it. I said, y'all, please come back. And they did. They went back and went back. But I will say this. There was a little boy that came the other day. He's in 2nd grade. And he just kept going back, getting another biscuit. And he said, I love your biscuits. I said, well, darling, help yourself.
I told Brenda the other day that I love the biscuits, too, and I love pear preserves.
Oh, and somebody gave me some today.
Oh, good.
I said I'd have to hide them from you.
Yeah.
But you can eat them tomorrow.
So let me say it again. I love pear preserves. So I told Brenda the other day, I said, when it cools off a little bit, I want you to bake a pan of biscuits, and I'm going to come over here, and that's all I'm going to eat, biscuits and pear preserves. But I like it when it's cold, and I like to eat them right as it gets dark. I don't know why, but they taste better to me right as it gets dark.
What do you mean, dark at night?
Yeah, dark at night, yeah. Because it reminds me of hunting.
Okay,
See, I
got you.
When I come home from hunting right at dark, and you get that, I love to walk in the house after I've been hunting and smell the
biscuits and
all the food that's being cooked. Yeah, that's a real heartwarming memory for me.
Y'all, that's a man thing.
So, Brenda cooks biscuits on a thing that's about that big around. Okay, a cast iron. What do you call it?
Well, it's a griddle type thing. Okay. It's a flat griddle, though it doesn't have little ridges in it like you do a chicken on. It's just flat. It's a flat black iron griddle. That's what it is. And
they're probably about this big, right? They're a couple inches, 2.5 inches around, and you she just puts them all in a circle like that, and so the girls, they fight over the middle biscuit. I don't understand this. It doesn't taste.
I like the outside.
I do too, because they're crispier.
Yeah.
They got a little crunchy to them. But they go, the first one that can get their hands on that middle biscuit, and then all the rest of them get mad.
Except for one time, one of them was going, I think it was Bay going off to college, and it was kind of her last meal, and the other two said, well, we're going to let you have the middle biscuit this time. And we actually had a restaurant here for a while, and the name of it was Middle Biscuit. Yeah. The Middle Biscuit was the name of their restaurant. Yeah. But George called them 2-bite biscuits because they were so tiny. But he ate a lot more than 2 bites. I can tell y'all that.
So when Hannah and I first got married, that made me think of this story. When Hannah and I first got married, she worked in Greensboro, Alabama, and I was in law school in Birmingham, and so we lived in Centerville, Alabama, in Bibb County, which was about halfway in between. She drove about an hour to Greensboro, and I drove about an hour to law school, and we didn't have health insurance, and so.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we didn't. And so we went to Greensboro to an old-time doctor, and his name was Dr. Singleton. And and he like carried the black bag that
Oh my word!
and he had the the all of the stuff in it where he'd look in your eye with that big silver cup and
look in your ears.
Yes, and I bet that stuff came from the Civil War, because Dr. Singleton was about 125 years old.
Oh,
which was a good testament, though. I don't know how old he was, but he was old as dirt.
Okay.
And so, but that was a good testament to how good of a doctor he was, because I bet he was 90.
Well, they might have been. I mean, good doctors, they stay a long time.
And he still did house calls. Now he wouldn't do a house call to our house because it was too far to drive, but he did house calls around Greensboro. But his nickname, this is why I started telling the short story. His nickname was Two Shot Singleton. So the first time I ever went to him, I'm like everybody else. I only go to the doctor if I need to. And so I went to him. I had the flu or strep throat or something, and he said, "Now you gonna learn why they call me Two Shot Singleton." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he jabbed me and gave me a shot, and he said, "You come back in 2 days, and I'll give you the second one." And that's why they call me Two Shot Singleton. So.
Well, let me tell a story about shots. I never, when I was growing up, I had a woman doctor. She was a pediatrician, and I kept her until she said, "Brenda, you're too old. You're going to have to find a real doctor. You can't come to me anymore." This was when I was probably 20. I was still going to a pediatrician. But anyway, she would ask me when I was little and get sick. She'd say, "Do you want medicine or a shot?" And I always said a shot, because I hated to take medicine. And I'd rather just do that and get it over. What do y'all think? Had you rather have medicine or a shot?
I'd rather have the shot too. I want to get it over.
I do too. I do too. Who's this remind you all? My ear itch. Who does that? Y'all remember who did that? Who did that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
It is a movie star, and she always did that to say hello to her mama.
When she was on TV, that would be like code.
She would pull her ear a little bit. Y'all know who it was? I bet my generation knows. Who pulled their ear when they were watching, when they were on TV? She was real funny.
Oh, it had to have been Lucille Ball.
And she had a doctor on her show. He was old as dirt.
It had to be Lucille Ball.
It wasn't. It was Carol Burnett.
Oh, yeah.
And she had a doctor that was old as dirt. Y'all remember him? He walked so slow. And,
I do.
Like that.
That was Tim Conway.
Yes, that's who it was.
Right.
Tim Conway. I couldn't remember. He was a character. I loved his show.
I love the Carol Burnett show. They don't have good variety shows like that anymore.
I know it. I'm still watching Gunsmoke and Have Gun Will Travel. Y'all remember Paladin?
Yeah. I saw a little thing the other day on Gilligan's Island. All of the actors got paid per episode.
Oh.
Except for Mary Ann. Mary Ann wanted royalties. She was one of the first actors or actresses in Hollywood to ever get royalties.
Oh.
And all those other actors made less than $100,000 off the whole series total, and she made over $10 million. Because it's the most syndicated. Yeah, because it's the most syndicated TV show of all time besides MASH. And she made all those. She still gets a check today.
For royalties.
From royalties.
Getting to use her. Well, that was good. We need to remember that, y'all. So when we get to be movie stars, we can.
I'm not ever going to be a movie star.
Say we could do royalties.
This is as close to being a movie star as I want to be. Hey, let me show y'all this. Y'all know what this is? So, you're all the time hearing us talking about going to Dirt Cheap. So I was in Dirt Cheap the other day. And this is an owl that you would put like in your barn or by your chicken coop or on your porch. And this will keep the birds from nesting wherever you don't want them to nest, right? It'll also keep like hawks away and stuff like that. And so I got this at Dirt Cheap for like $4. And they're normally like $30, but
got a bobblehead.
There's a reason why it was only $4, right? Because it's broken. But I
thought it was just a bobblehead one.
No, there's a part missing, and so its head's supposed to spin like that, but it's broke, and so.
Well, I like him.
I'm gonna super glue him just like that.
I wouldn't. I let it do with the wind blowing. He would kind of move his head around. Look.
That ain't the wind. If the wind blows that thing, it's a hurricane.
Hey, y'all, there is a building in downtown Andalusia. Any of y'all from Andalusia? and it has an owl sitting way up high in the window.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the First Methodist Church.
Just like this owl.
Yes. And I think that they sit it up in the window in their church because they've got a beautiful stained glass.
Yeah,
and maybe that's to keep birds from flying into it.
Keeps all the birds. I kind of like the owl sitting there, see him right there.
He likes y'all.
Yeah. So I did want to tell you all about my book, though. Look, the deadline's coming up. This is my 4th book. It's called Fourth Night's Watch, and the deadline to order is coming up. Remember, the way we do our books is we don't put them in bookstores. We don't do all that.
We don't do Amazon.
And the reason we don't, y'all, is because we're just. This is the entirety of Brenda Gant Shepherding Outdoors Enterprises, right? There's no employees there. Well, Brenda has a lady that helps her a little bit around the house and around the bed and breakfast, but we're not doing this for business.
We're just people.
And the good Lord put us in a place where we could do things that we think inspire and encourage and help other people. And so we're not trying to grow a big monster business. We just do this. I do it out of the closet, basically.
Well, and two, after you pass away, your children.
That's right.
Now, this is the thing. Your children will have these stories because they're all about our family and his family and how he grew up and what was happening in our family and the children. And it's Southern Daddy stories.
Yeah.
It's Southern Daddy stories.
Yeah.
So I every time he puts 3 or 4 of these.
Or 5.
Or 5, meaning their whole family. Today he's just got Hannah. She's the biggest one. And then got 3 little ones.
Now those are sea cows. Those are manatees, which some people call sea cows. So apparently Brenda is referring to Hannah as a sea cow.
Well,
which I'm not.
She's the big. Well, she used to be the big one, but now now all
Hannah,
the girls are taller than she is. All the girls are taller than she is.
I don't think you used to be a sea cow, or do I think you used to be big? Okay, that was your mama that said that, not
she
me.
Didn't used to be big. I'm just saying she's in a group of animals. She's the mama.
Yeah, that's right.
She's the mama.
Yes,
but now all her babies are bigger, taller than her.
Yes, they are. Yes,
Hannah's the shortest one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the shortest, but I'm. So, anyway.
So I want to tell y'all just real quick, when in 2015 I was diagnosed with a grave health concern that I don't want to go into all the details of, and I started a process where I started writing stuff down that I wanted my girls to know. And it started out with things like, here's a list of 10 things that if a boy does, you don't ever marry him, right? And they were little things, and I would write a paragraph or 2 about why, or maybe more, about why that was a bad sign, if you will. And so, and it was, sometimes it was meant to be funny, sometimes it was meant to be serious, but it was supposed to be my diary, if you will, to my girls, because the health concern was it was serious. Let's just put it that way. And so I'll tell y'all about that another day. I'm just not trying to bring the room down. But look, God had other plans, and so I'm still here. Thank you, Lord. And I ended up with thousands and thousands and thousands of words of stuff I had written down, because it turned into, hey, remember that time we went and did this, right? Mm-hmm. And so it almost was, it started out as like a how-to guide, but then it ended up as if I'm just being honest, I got a little, I was probably started having a pity party, and because it was a terminal diagnosis, and I started writing, hey, don't forget me stories, right? And so, and
so out of it, all these came.
That's right.
This is the 4th book.
That's where this came from. That was the point I was trying to tell you. Is this book right here is the 4th book that came out of those things that I wrote down. When I tell you I wrote down a lot of stuff, I wrote down a lot of stuff. And so, shepherdingbook.com, you can go order this book. People say, why do I want this book? Well, because we live in a world, sorry, Mr. Al, we live in a world that is just full of negative and full of darkness and full of criticism and full of ugly. And if you want something to lift your spirits, if you want to be encouraged, if you want to laugh, if you want to cry happy tears, if you want to just experience joy through words on a page. Well, these books are going to give you that, and they're 260 pages, and it's all about our family and our faith walk, right, and what God does for us. Now, look, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a theologian. This is just very real, everyday stuff about how God shows up in our life, right? And so it's not Jimmy Swaggart. It's not.
It's life.
Yeah, it's just real
the
life.
Good, bad, and the ugly. That's what it is. It's
That's
the
right.
good, the bad, and the ugly of life. And I think it's very important for you people watching to write down somewhere on a notebook or something some stories of your life for your children, because they get lost, y'all. After 3 generations, they just kind of like disappear.
Yep.
I mean, I can tell stories about my big daddy and my granny right now, but my grandchildren won't be able to tell it because they never met them. Okay, they never met them. And so, but I can write down stories, and I tell y'all lots of times stories that I told you in one of my books about my big daddy sticking his hand down into chasing a baby rabbit. He stuck his hand down in there to get that rabbit out of a hole that was by a stump, and a snake bit his finger. Bang. So all he had left was, these 2 were missing. He had these 2 fingers and that one. That's all he had. And he went through life and got married, had children, everything else. But that's a story.
You know why they amputated those 2 fingers? Because in those days, the best thing you can do to avoid dying from a snake bite was cut off the blood flow from wherever the venom was. So I guarantee you they cut his fingers off really quickly.
He was just a child when that happened.
Yeah.
But my granny married him.
So that reminds me of a good story. Oh, I wanted to finish. Shepherdingbook.com, 1-800-361-8059. But I wanted to tell you, 4th night's watch in the book of Matthew, Jesus is walking on the water. I just said I'm not a preacher, and I'm not. Jesus is walking on the water, and Peter says, Lord, if that's you, call me, and I'll come to you. And Jesus said, okay, come on. And I just know, like if I'm Peter, I'm like, really? And there are times as parents where we're so uncomfortable that we're called to get out of the boat, and we don't really want to. We're not really sure if we should or can or are able. And so some of the stories in here are about those times in our family dynamic where I was at a place, or Hannah and I were at a place where we weren't really sure what we were trying to do or what we were supposed to do, but we just stepped out on faith, right? And so sometimes you just got to trust God.
Well, there's almost every day there's something that occurs that we're not sure about. We just have to, that's right, do the best we can. Sometimes you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision, and you hope that you'll ask the Lord to guide you in it, so that you don't want to make the wrong one.
So I wanted to tell y'all this quick story, and then we'll go. Brenda used to have an antique store, and I know y'all are going to think this is crazy. Y'all are going to think these crazy people in Alabama. Well,
my antique store was Sweet Gum Bottom, Antiques.
We used to catch oak snakes, and we'd put them in the antique store because they'd kill the mice. Because if you didn't, the mice would eat. They'd get in the upholstered chairs, and they'd get in and they'd eat everything. And so, and in all those years, I don't remember anybody ever like finding a snake in the antique store. Did they?
No, there was some found outside, but never inside.
So one day I'm turning in the driveway, and the girls are with me, and there's a beautiful oak snake laying across the driveway, sunning in the concrete. And oak snakes are not poisonous, and they're really pretty docile snakes, unless you mess with them. And so Brenda sees us turn in the driveway, and she comes outside to greet the girls. And so I'm walking towards her, really to get to the snake. She's walking towards us to get to the girls, and we get to the same place, and she sees the snake, and I'm like, hey, don't. And just as she sees it, she takes her foot and puts it on top of its head, and says, now you grab it. To which I said, you got it, right? She said, oh yeah, I promise. So what she didn't tell me, what kind of shoes you get? She had on a heel that was about this tall. Okay, that slopes down like this, and so she's like this, and so I reached down to get the snake behind its head, and right as I get there, I realize she doesn't really have him. He's just got his head up under the little tunnel, hiding, and he pulls his head out and sees my hand coming, and he latches onto my thumb like nobody's business. And I didn't blame him for biting me. Well, I shook him off of me. Well, then the next thing that's close to him is what? Her foot. So he grabs hold of her ankle and latches onto her, and then now she's kicking around the driveway and hollering and hooping. And I got to admit, I love my mother-in-law. She's one of the sweetest ladies I know. But in that moment, I thought, yeah, I'm going to let him bite you too.
Well, I tell you what, I have caught snakes in our yard, up there in the yard, and I knew they needed to be down at the barn to get the mice or whatever. And I'd actually catch them now, and they'd wrap around my arm, and I'd just carry them down there and pitch them out somewhere.
Well, I fully intended to just pick him up.
I mean, but that's a southern thing in that we have snakes. I mean, we got snakes, we've got lizards, we've got frogs, we've got mosquitoes. We have to live with them.
We have owls.
Hoot owls.
George used to tell a story to the grandkids about the headless. Well, I guess it's longer than that.
Yeah, it's a tale that happened in Sweet Gum Bottom when the road used to be dirt. And the sweet gum trees, if y'all don't know, if you live in North, they're real dense, and they just shadow over a road like this, and it's real dark even in the day. And we had the headless woman of Sweet Gum
Bottom, yeah. And so George used to tell all of our girls and all of Dallas's kids, and we called them booger tails, and he'd get them all scared. Well, now we have the headless. I guess we have the headless owl of Sweet Gum Bottom, right?
I wouldn't glue it on. I think it'll be fine. Just let it bobble.
Hey, thank you. Well, thank you first of all for all you do, and thank you for good biscuits and pear preserves and loving us like you do.
And y'all will enjoy this. I mean, really, it is a good book. All his books are good, and there are great stories in there.
Short stories.
I don't remember which book had the one about you sitting on the toilet and me peeking in through the window.
I think that was the first one. Yeah.
Well, I didn't see much, y'all. He was just sitting there bent over like this.
She had locked herself out of the house.
Oh, glory.
And I was like, what is that? And I look up and she's at the window like this.
Hey, Walt, let me in. I'm locked out.
Fourth Night's Watch. These are short stories that are great for, a lot of teachers get them for like middle school and up. Women, men, old, young, everybody.
Christmas presents.
There's all sorts of people that read these books.
And then you go to the very back and write one of your little stories in it to get whoever you're giving it to.
Yeah, back here.
Yeah.
So I was looking on the back. Mark Lowry. If you love reading Southern stories with a spiritual message, Shepherding Outdoors is a wonderful read about a Christian family, their shared adventures, and the love of the outdoors. You'll find inspiration, humor, and comfort in my friend Walt's words. That was sweet of him to say that.
Mark Lowry wrote that.
Yeah.
He's going to move. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, he's building a house. He's going to build it up there where most of his family lives. I think it's Virginia.
Okay.
It's not finished yet.
Yeah. So he's moving out of Houston. Yeah.
He's not a big city fellow. I don't know why he was in Houston.
Well, good for him. Shepherdingbook.com. I see a lot of people are getting their cookbooks this week, and I noticed the White Lily group is full of people talking about your cookbook.
They're all excited. I'm excited too.
There's still copies of it left, or is it sold out?
The last one?
Yeah.
What we did is they're being shipped out right now to the people who pre-ordered, just like you pre-order this. But Hoffman bought some extras, and so you can still get book 1, book 2, and book 3.
Okay. So you really just need to go to. You can get all those at Hoffman Media's website.
Yeah, and we'll put mine on there too, in case you didn't get it. Yeah. But a lot of mine's already gotten theirs. I mean, it's coming daily. They get them daily.
Okay.
They can't ship all of them at the same time. You got to kind of. Somebody asked me just this week. They said, "Where's your merchandise store? Where did we buy stuff?" I said, "I don't have any merchandise." They said, "Why not?" I said, "Don't you have to hire somebody to run that thing and mail them out?" I said, "Well, I'm not in. I can't do it, y'all."
People get on, and somebody will comment on this, and they'll say, "Y'all are always selling stuff." And I go back, and when they say that on my post, I'll go back and look, and I'll say, "Well, I posted 14 posts, and none of them have talked about a book, and now I've talked about this one."
Here's the thing, y'all. You wouldn't believe how many people have asked me to say something about their product.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people I've turned down because I didn't really like their product. I just told them it wasn't something I wanted to use. So I didn't say anything about it. If I say something about a product, it's because I love it.
Yeah. And that's why you say it.
That's why I say it.
Yeah.
I tell my children about it. My children use it. We used White Lily. My granny's used it. My mama used it. I'm a White Lily girl.
I'm careful about, and I know you are too, we both are, I'm careful about what's in my videos. Like, you never want to accidentally have something in a video that
you don't like.
Just like this hat. This is Happy Hollow Outdoors in Red Bay, Alabama. I love them people. It's a great store. So I don't mind wearing this hat. It's just one of those things. But we're not a business. That's really what I was trying to emphasize to you is,
we don't have a store.
We don't have a store. We don't sell shirts. We don't sell cups. We don't sell nothing. What we do is we try to spread a powerful message. That's it. That's all we're trying to do.
Give somebody something to enjoy.
And hopefully put somebody...
And your children will be glad you did this.
That's right.
And my grandchildren are going to be glad that I wrote a book.
Yeah. And I hope that it gives somebody a little joy and maybe even introduces them to Jesus, right? I'm not trying to spread a gospel message,
but you are in your own way.
Right.
The Lord's did. But and I've heard a lot of y'all say this now, and it's true. You say, "I wish I had watched my mama make so and so because now she's gone. I don't have a recipe, and I don't know how she made it."
Mm-hmm.
Well, if Mama had written it down and walked you through it, it might have helped.
That's right.
And so he's writing this down for his girls and whoever else reads it. Mm-hmm. And I wrote my recipes down for my children and whoever reads that. So when I'm gone, they can make a biscuit.
Kate says, like if you ever ask her, if she was here right now and say, "Kate, have you read any of my books?" And she'll say, "No, I lived it. I don't have to read it."
Oh, Lord.
Oh, all right. We love y'all. Thank you very much. It's for all you do to love our families. Y'all are great encouragers to us too. As we're reading y'all's comments as we go. I like to read them after
because I need glasses.
Yeah,
everybody if you're 40 years old or older, you need readers.
Yeah. So I do want to say, all you folks over here, be sure you're following Brenda Gant. Cooking with Brenda Gant on Facebook, and all you folks over here, if you'll go to Shepherding Outdoors on Facebook and follow that page, that's the two pages that are going on at the same time right now.
We got two phones set up on Hannah's coffee table.
Our high-tech equipment, the business we run, we got Brenda's phone here and my phone here.
I told Walt a while ago he was trying to set this up. Well, this table is just sticks. It doesn't have a top on it. And I said, "You need to put a piece of glass on this." He said, "This isn't my table. This is Hannah's table, and we got to leave it like it is. She'll pitch fit."
If she wants me to put a piece of glass on it, I will, but I ain't touching her table without directions. So,
okay. Y'all, I hope you enjoy your night, and just get out tonight and enjoy this cool air that we're having. Don't stay inside. Get out and do something. Put your blanket outside and watch the stars, okay?
Hannah and I are fixing to go to the cabin and put our feet in the creek.
That sounds good. Well, I'm not. I'm going to put mine in the shower.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye. You turn mine off for me?